Happy Friday and welcome to the Unmask Your Potential Virtual Summit. We're so thrilled to have you join us today. And our expert panelists are here to help you unmask your potential and shine. So without further ado, it's my honor and great privilege to introduce our summit host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. She's the CEO of RHG Media Productions and the founder of Your Purpose-Driven Practice. She's a global influencer, a #1 international best-selling author, a publisher that's helped over 900 authors become bestsellers, a radio show host, an empowerment leader, and the creator of the Speaker Talent Search. Rebecca has personally contributed to 40 plus published books, multiple magazines, and has been quoted in major media such as the Huffington Post, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and Thrive Global. And today she wants you to be seen, heard, and shine, as well as every day. So without further ado, take it away, Rebecca.
Yay. Thank you, Misty, so much for that beautiful introduction. I am thrilled and excited to be here with all of you. And I don't know if you felt it, but as I was watching that countdown, because I've been so excited, waiting for this time for us to come together, it seemed to take longer than 30 seconds for me. It's so funny how time works and how sometimes it can speed up or slow down depending on our feelings about things and how we're choosing to be, how we're looking at things. So I hope that you choose to be present in our conversation. And as much as you can, don't worry about the time. We've got the time managed for you. This is an opportunity for you to be served, to be filled up, to be inspired and given great information to help you unmask your powerful and absolutely needed potential. One of the biggest gifts you can give the world is more of you. And so today we're coming together to help you unmask, take off those masks that can interfere with our connections and interfere with all we're called to bring forward so that you can really shine, be really connected, authentically show up, and bring the amazing gift of you to the world. So I hope you're excited. I want to give you a few tips to support you on our journey because it's always nice to know what helps when we're coming together like this. So one, choose to be present. I don't want to just kind of in the background, you're kind of half listening. Choose to be present. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason that you were drawn to come today. Just like our speakers were called to be here and are trusting what will be shared is what's needed. So connect in, choose to be present. Have your paper ready to take notes. There's something powerful about actually writing your thoughts, your notes. It connects your heart and your hand. It brings it into reality instead of swirling around in you. So I encourage you to take notes of those things that either touch you or inspire you or things you want to take action on, because there'll be some great things you can take action on today, as well as you're being present, when we allow ourselves to slow down a little bit and we open our ears to hear, our hearts to receive, we actually slow down enough to actually hear ourselves think too. We can hear what's bubbling up in us. So as we're sharing, there's going to be things that'll bubble up too that you want to capture. So have that paper ready. Capture that information that's going to serve you. Trust that what is needed to help support you and unmasking your potential will come forward today. And this is interactive, not output only. So we encourage you to lean in, send questions. We're live streaming this on purpose, not just to share out, but we want to involve you in the conversation. So if you have questions, you have comments, things you're wondering, things that would help you, let us know. We're going to be watching the feeds on YouTube and on Facebook. So reach out. If you happen to be watching the replay, and you can watch the replay even if you're joining us live, sometimes it's nice to hear things a couple times. you can still reach out. We're going to share our contact information. We are doing that on purpose. We want to connect. We want to support you. We value you being in our community, in our circles, and in our lives. And we're honored to meet you if you're new to us. So have that paper and pen ready. Have those thoughts and questions as they come up. I hope that you feel that connection from us, that energy, that desire to be here with you. Now, one of the reasons I love Unmask Your Potential is I think because it's been a hard journey for me around that, and discovering that it actually was enough to be me. I used to try really hard to show up a certain way, wear the right outfit, do the shoes, do the makeup a certain way. Like I had a whole protocol I would follow, lots of pressure, trying to show up a certain way, whether I was speaking or in the daily life. And I would plan, and I would try to portray that image that I thought was important. I'd hide behind my content, my information, my credentials. I always made sure everybody knew my credentials. And I did that because I felt like that's how I could serve. It was what I knew. It was the information. It was how I packaged it. And I remember when God tapped me on the shoulder and started to ask me to share and to speak more and to actually tell my story, I didn't want to do that. It was messy. It was uncomfortable. I wanted to keep standing behind the image, and the speaking that I was doing, though I loved it and I was empowering people around their finances and what they were looking to do in the world. I loved doing it. I wasn't sharing me in the process. And when God tapped me on the shoulder and said, Rebecca, it's time, you got to go start sharing your story. My first answer was, oh, no, that's not what financial advisors do, right? I had my identity that I represented and brought forward. And I was proud to be that and loved being that. However, it was a way I was hiding. And as he kept bugging me for 9 months, tapping me on the shoulder, it's time, it's time, it's time. I gave him alternate lists. I let him know all the other people were way more qualified and could do it better. And someone else, I don't want to, I shouldn't have to. I've suffered enough. That's uncomfortable. I don't know how. All those things. He played in my mind tapes, like recorded tapes or videos, as we call them today, messages over and over of my healing journey. Because I came from a very unhealthy background as a child, as a little girl. I experienced things and lived through things that no little girl should ever know about, much less experience. And so I learned to survive, to hide. It was part of me on a cellular level. I had to hide to be safe, stay below the radar, and have a big smile and act like everything was okay. That's what I did for a lot of years. But I never wanted to go home. And I did everything to stay out of the light, to hide, to not be seen because it wasn't safe. And I was rescued, for which I'm very, very grateful. And I got to go on a healing journey. And as I went on that journey, what I discovered is the things I had learned to survive, I learned I didn't matter. There's something wrong with me that caused this, that I am not okay. I'm unlovable. I'm a waste of space. I believed those things. And that was my fault. And when I got to go on this healing journey, I came at a great battle. It took a great battle to rescue me. I learned I had value. I learned I was loved. I learned I did matter. And so do each of you. I learned that it is safe to be seen and to be heard. And in fact, it's needed, because people are not going to magically know that they matter. They're not going to magically know what you do or how you can help them, or that you even care, if we don't share that, if we're not easy to see. And these masks we hide behind that we think are protecting us are actually keeping people from us. They can't connect with us. We're not real. There's something creating interference. So when we can strip that away and we can show up authentically and powerfully, and in a sense, you're trusting the world with you, letting them know I'm here. This is what I stand for. Here's how I can help. I'm cheering you on. That matters. It makes the difference. And you don't need a special outfit or a mask or a certain way you show up to do that and to make a difference. So one of the things I know you're going to love about our amazing, I'm looking at them on my screen, or because you can't see them yet, our amazing experts is the authenticity, the care, that really being here, all that other stuff stripped away. And they are powerful. They are amazing. They are so gifted and so committed to supporting you on your journey so you can be unmasked. So here's how that conversation went, going back to God prompting me to start telling my story and all my reasons not to. Because the biggest healing part for me was I knew intellectually that I was safe. But physically, I still had these triggers that would come up. I would lose my voice when someone would ask me to share or speak, 2 or more people, too much. If I could say my name and then I would just kind of shut down. I would turn purple. I didn't go red. I went purple, right to purple. I would shake my hands, the nerves, my voice would close off because my body was remembering what was before and it was trying to protect me. But every time I did and I stepped forward, I survived and I became stronger. And I was able to learn on a cellular level too that it is safe to be seen and heard. And when I look out in the world, I see so many men and women that are still believing the lies that I used to believe. And it hurts my heart. It's what gives me courage to keep stepping forward when it's a stretch or it's uncomfortable or it's a new platform or new technology or whatever it is that I'm stepping forward in. It's because I know that it matters that I stand for everyone who still believes those lies, because I want you all to know the truth, that you matter. You are needed exactly as you are. There's nobody else just like you. When we look at a garden of life, we have all these different textures and backgrounds and stories and experiences. And we get to occupy this space that we have today. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. We have today. We get to be here today. We have that choice. But sometimes we show up, but hide. We show up, but we're not saying what we've been given to say. We're not sharing what we're called to share. Wisdom not shared is lost forever, and we all miss out. We hide in the background versus really owning our space. When I have events, a lot of times I'll hand out flower pens. I was looking for one on my desk and I don't see one right at the moment. But a flower pen is like a ballpoint pen with a beautiful silk flower on the end of it. And I have all different ones that I hand out at events. And then I ask people to stand up and appreciate this beautiful flower, all its different textures and the fragrance it would have and its own color and way that it shows up. Because we can see that in others and we don't always see it in ourselves. And then I have them recognize that with the people around them, and then very much with the person holding the flower about themselves. And to stand up and we look at all the beautiful flowers in the room as they hold them up, that's a representative of us. How are we all showing up and sharing? And then I have a few people drop down the flower pens. And suddenly everybody's experience of life, everybody's garden is suddenly less vibrant. We're still occupying the same space, but it just became less vibrant and alive and rich as it could be when we fully show up, taking our masks off. So when I resisted And I went back to God and I said, I shouldn't have to. Here's all the reasons. The tapes that he played in my head showed me on the healing journey. And I used to have this conversation with God. And I don't know if universe, source, whatever it is for you, for me, it's God. And I would say, okay, God, here's the deal. I don't know if any of you have ever made deals with God, but I did from a young age, the whole time on the journey. Here's the deal, God. I will do this mean, hard, horrible thing that you're asking me to do. That was so terrifying to me, to tell the truth, to stand in that place, to be vulnerable when I had worked so hard to be safe and show up a certain way. I will do this mean, hard, horrible thing you're asking me to do if it can make a difference for another. Then I was willing. It gave me the courage. If the stand I took today could make the path of another easier, another little girl not experience what I had experienced, then I was willing. And I had a reason and I had a purpose to stand in that place. And I would take the steps. And every day on my journey, that would be the case. I had those conversations over and over and over. And so God said, okay, as he played those tapes, so it's time to take that stand. And I just sat with it and I wrestled. And I said, okay, God, I can hear it. Because maybe what I have to say could make a difference for another. Like that hope was there. Maybe it could. I could be uncomfortable. I could be stretched. I could be scared. Because fear is not a reason not to. Heart is not a reason not to. If I could take that step to help another, then I was excited by that. I was hopeful by that, but I still was fearful. So I said, okay, God, here's the deal. I'll do this mean, hard, horrible thing of tell my story, which I don't think I should have to do because I really think all these other people are way more qualified, more experienced, better, know how. If I don't have to speak to more than 50 people at a time, I don't need to be filmed or recorded in any way. I don't want pictures taken. I don't think I can, nothing live. I don't think I can talk to more than 50 people at a time. So we've got to keep the group smaller. I don't know what this offer business is. So no offers, nothing with television, radio, or books. I'm a reader. I'm not a writer. You gather the people together and let's go make a difference. Silence. I went, God, I said yes. And what came back to me is, Rebecca, I think you misunderstood. This is yes or no, period. There aren't boundaries. There aren't contingencies. Will you go where I call you to go and share what I call you to share or not? It is your choice. Choose. So I was very scared, but I was very excited, deeply moved that maybe what had been so hard could be used for good. And I could take that stand to make a positive difference for another. So I said, okay, God, I'll do this, but I really hope I don't have to do. And I listed everything again, just to make sure he had the list. And the thing is, no one was asking me to do any of those things I was trying to protect myself from. It was fear. And I have learned every step prepares you for the next. And all those things I never, ever wanted to do, and I was so scared to do, are now part of my daily life. And guess what? I love them. Who knew? I think sometimes we don't know how we're made and what will give us joy and what we can do. So within a few months, I was on stage. You can start checking off the list, live streamed, over 300 people in the room, sharing my story, had 2 book deals in the works, 2 radio interviews lined up, and an interview on a cable TV show that I just didn't even know how that was happened. And I was scared. And I remember in the back of the room looking at the easiest, fastest way I could leave the room. And I gave myself full permission to walk off that stage if I needed to. And in that moment, I no longer had to be there. I was choosing to be there. And I knew I was no longer that little girl with that choice. And that I would keep myself safe. And there was someone in the room that needed what I had to say. And so I shared. I cried. I don't remember exactly what I shared. It was 7 minutes, but again, that time thing, it felt very long. And I completed, got a standing ovation I never saw. And when I got off the stage, there were a lineup of men and women who were touched by what I had shared. And they shared with me, Rebecca, I was the one. How did you know? And then the next said they were the one. There were lots of they were the ones. I was in awe. And then they started to say, and I could tell you were scared, but you cared enough about me to do it anyway. Thank you. That gives me courage. That inspires me. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be willing. And that was the message I took from that day. And that I could trust God with the rest. And every step has led to the next. And it's been stretching, it's been wonderful, and it's been scary, and it's been deeply, deeply meaningful and purposeful. When I look back at that moment where I got to make that choice, I knew if I didn't say yes, I'd always regret it. Because if I could help, what an honor, what an amazing opportunity. Second, if I said yes, I also knew it would change my life. I was no longer in control. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity and so honored to get to take the steps and be on this journey with all of you. And I'm so excited for today. And I celebrate it because I know we have today. And I know there's an urgency to each of you, how you are being called, how you are called to unmask your potential, whatever that means for you. And our speakers today are going to help you do that. And what God said to me in one of my wrestlings back and forth in that time, when I told him, by the way, I'm doing the speaking thing already, and I'm not seeing lives change. I'm not seeing hearts transformed. And you want me to do more? Be vulnerable and share my story? Again, I think you're asking the wrong person. Here's that list again. And he said, the reason you're not making the change, the impact, touching people's hearts is because you're hiding. I said, I'm not hiding. I'm out in the public all the time. They know my name. I'm around. I'm doing this. I'm sharing in these different ways. And he says, yeah, your content's out there. Your information's out there. You're giving great ideas and suggestions. But until you take your shield down, your guard down, you take the mask off, you will never touch the hearts and lives you could touch, that you're called to touch. Because if you're asking people to trust, to lean in, to entrust you, you have to extend the hands first and trust them and create that openness, that share. So my challenge for everyone today, including myself, is to continue to take the masks off when you start to notice you're putting them on. Be willing to show up exactly as you are and know that it serves. And who you are, how you are, is enough. It makes a difference. But don't wait till someday. We have today. And let's keep embracing today and those moments and share the gifts you've been given to share. Share your journey, share your wisdom. Be willing to echo out those things that matter most to you, because we're echoing stuff out all day long, whether we realize it or not, and how we are, how we're showing up. So do so with purpose. Be mindful. Share out what matters most to you. And remember, when life starts to feel heavy and busy with the changing seasons, the holidays coming, the family dynamics, pressures, business, all those things that can come at you, life stuff, you can always take a moment for you. 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, and pause. And choose how you're going to navigate. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can choose your response. You can choose how you show up. You can choose who you're being, who you're becoming, and how you're connecting with others. You are far more powerful than you know, and you are an incredible gift. So with that, I want us to take a minute, breathe in, feel this moment. And as you do, what is it that you need today? What is it that will empower you, support you, help you take that mask off, help you echo out what matters most to you. What is it you need? And in fact, sometimes it's helpful to put your hands on your heart as you feel that heartbeat. Try to feel within the heartbeat, so in between the beats. Breathe deeply, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Take in another beautiful breath. And close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And then out. And just see, what is it you need today? It will encourage you, empower you, support you, help you, because it's not a solo journey. Perhaps it's a reminder. Perhaps it's feeling that connection. Just see. Nothing to solve, nothing to figure out. This is curiosity, checking in. Beautiful. Receive that information. Take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth again. Become fully present, eyes open. Take a moment and write down what was on your heart, what was on your spirit. And just see. Before we started our time together today, we had a time behind the scenes with our amazing experts. And we took a moment to connect in, to catch up, to see what we were grateful for, what we were excited about today, and had this time of connection so that we could be connected. Remember our purpose for today. Remember why we're here as we came together to connect with all of you. So I want you to feel that connection and that support. And as we're trusting the process today, we're trusting the journey and what we get to share with you, that it'll come forward. We're going to speak authentically. We're going to speak from our heart. We're not going to measure all of our words and try to make sure they come out exactly right and start putting these masks on of separation and getting in our head and trying to do everything just right. We are trusting you with our message, with that what we have to share will be held. So as we share authentically and from the heart and seek to help, encourage, and uplift you, and I hope those things you wrote on the page, you get support and encouragement on, that you feel that come alongside, because it is not a solo journey. And you know that we are here with you. So I invite you, as you are moved and touched by one of our amazing authors, either they inspire you, authors and speakers and experts, as they inspire you, as they move you, as there's an aha moment, because we want those. We want to grow and learn, right? New things are good, that we want to learn that. Make a note of that. Take it in. And it would be amazing if you let that speaker know. What an encouragement to them on their journey as they are trusting you to receive what they have lovingly, beautifully prepared for you. So with that, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our first amazing guest. So if we can lean in and give our ear to our amazing Deborah Weiner, I'm going to take a moment, introduce her to you so you can know her a little bit more if she's new to you. She is a #1 international best-selling author, an award-winning speaker, distinguished Toastmaster, Feng Shui master, and has created her own change management system. She is the creator of the energetic business Feng Shui that has supported her company's evolution, growing from a very, very small number, I'll let her share, to a multi-million-dollar success. And she now brings that forward to help all of you do the same. She is passionate about helping you redesign your life and business for success, Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic, amazing Deborah Weiner to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so happy to be here.
I am thrilled to have you here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I wanted to start our conversation with, why is this work of helping people in this way, particularly in their businesses and making the connections with energy and how all of that ties in and our wiring, why is that work so important to you?
This work is so important to me because once I discovered the world of energy, became conscious of the fact that energy is all around us, it's within us, and it can be shifted and changed. And it's part of manifesting the life you want, the things and people you want to bring into your life. It opened up a lot of, let's just say, repressed parts of me that I was hiding. And once I learned to use energy to shift my mind and consciousness, perspectives, the way I was thinking, and seeing that what gifts I had to share that I was not sharing, that I was hiding, I decided, and the success it brought me, I decided I've got to share this with the world. This is something that can help so many people. And it can not only change your life, but it can change your business. And energy must be flowing in order to create and manifest what you want. So I have my one of my taglines, where energy flows, money goes. And that is true. And not just money. Money's many things. And it is energy too.
Beautiful. Well, I love you sharing that. And I love how you've unmasked that in your life and bringing what you've discovered about energy and being able to help people in so many ways. I celebrate that. I love that. Do you mind sharing, just for those who don't know, kind of where your business started to it becoming? I just think it's inspiring, and I'd love for people to have that perspective, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, see, I met my husband, I think it's about 36 years ago, and he was selling some products, some fasteners, nuts and bolts, things that kept furniture and cabinetry, wood products together. And he decided to start his own business. And we had been just dating about 6 months, but he decided, hey, I can, his boss gave him a turkey for a bonus. And so I said, a turkey, I can do this myself and make money. So decided to put heads together and started business in a garage with a used Toyota truck and a $5,000 loan. And it's been let's just say, his labor of love. And it's our family business now. We there was a couple times during the recession in 2000, I think it was 7, 8, or 9, that we almost went out of business and had to lay everyone off except for 4 people. And I had discovered energy and Feng Shui. Feng Shui is not just about moving furniture around. Feng Shui is many things, but it is energy. And I went in and I saw the changes that could be made in the company and started working with energy, seeing where there was blocks and clearing that out. And then went in and organized and cleaned and organized the building and the company. And actually, I also say ourselves. We feng shuied ourselves. And then we did placement of objects, which is probably a more well-known part of feng shui. And abundance, the energy was flowing, and abundance came to us, and also creativity. And we discovered a new division to start, which was the solar industry. We we import solar mounting systems for the solar panels on residential roofs, and which created a lot of abundance and a whole new industry in our division. And during COVID was another time where we had to lay a lot of people off. And I went in to the company. I again saw areas that could be changed and shifted the energy in a multiple ways. I created my own system called the Energetic Business Feng Shui system. And it's made up of a lot of different success systems using quantum physics, using Reiki, using human design, using lots of different modalities, and using my business experience and background. And we increased our revenues. I mean, having to lay people off during COVID, we increased our revenues 180% during COVID, when most people went out of business. So it's, I have living examples of how energy definitely can make a difference in people's lives and businesses in many different ways. It's infinite. It expands not just to, again, a business. It's about changing yourself sometimes so that you can change your business.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And one of the things I'm observing is, as you're sharing some of this expansion, contraction, those challenging times, actually, instead of hiding or stopping, you leaned in and evaluated. Like it's almost like, I think about a river. When the water dries up a little bit, you can see rocks and things underneath you didn't necessarily see before when there's lots of water flowing. So sometimes these opportunities, we can discover things that maybe were there or were getting bigger, but we didn't know until we had to kind of stop and take a look, or it raises to our awareness. So I love that you use those opportunities to go in and say, oh, let me look at the energy. How can I shift this? What can I do? And became very proactive in making some of those shifts and changes and using your expertise to do that and to grow and build and keep stepping forward in a time when there's a lot of contraction around you. So I think that's really powerful and great. And I have a question that has been sent. Is it okay if I jump in and ask?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, what is a top tip for attracting positive energy with Feng Shui? So how do those tie together? And what's something we can do to start perhaps thinking about energy a little bit differently and be aware?
Well, attracting positive energy is about being conscious and about wanting to change. There must be a desire to change something in your life or business, because nothing can happen if you're resisting it or if you're afraid of it. So taking a look at where in your life could you change maybe the way you're thinking. Maybe there's a new perspective, and just looking at something in a different way can create positive energy. So looking within and seeing, where is it that maybe my view is distorted, and maybe be more open-minded.
Okay.
So looking at things differently.
I love that, being open to asking the question, even, because that can be a little scary sometimes too. So I like that, kind of being open and exploring and then see. And to me, that's really empowering as well, because it's not what's happening around us. It's not what other people do or don't do. It's within us. We have the power that we can make that shift or be open or explore. So I love that. Really, really great. And making sure I answered the question. So we're good. And then I think I'd love to have you share, what is your top tip to help us unmask our potential? So I love that being open, asking questions, but as we're looking at, so that's shifting our energy to a more positive place. How do we then take off stuff that might be interfering to step into our potential? Or does that connect for you?
It does connect for me. Most of my life, I have found myself looking outside myself for answers and trying to fit into other people's worlds. And I was wearing a mask because I was wanted to be liked, wanted to be included. And until I learned that that wasn't bringing me happiness. And I really wasn't usually included. It was just a fallacy. And why did I need to fit into other people's worlds? So I learned to love myself. And to some people, that might sound selfish, but it's really, we must love ourselves before we can love other people. In other words, we must respect ourselves. We must see our value. And I took off the mask and started to be me, and found that when I was around people that I didn't feel comfortable being me around, I let them go. Found what makes me happy, found my passions and my gifts.
Beautiful. I love that. And that's a great tip too, that noticing those around you who you don't feel like you have to fit into a mold or something. You can't be you, or they're not valuing, appreciating it, or you're trying to be less or different. And that's a lot of pressure and weight and heavy. And that we can just kind of release that and allow, and I think it creates room for those that do love us as we are and appreciate. And it's a lot less energy because we're not trying to fit into a box that isn't really the box for us. It wasn't designed for us, that we get to really be who we are. And I think that increases our energy. So I love that. Well, I know that you have lovingly prepared a beautiful gift for us today, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
Yes, I would welcome everyone to visit my website, which is www.fengshuibusinessconsultant.com, where you can sign up to watch my free 18-minute webinar on how Feng Shui can help you and your business create more abundance and increase your revenues. And then I have a 30-minute free consultation where we can discover and explore how I can support you.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. So webinar to inform, educate, and support. And then you can ask Deborah questions. How brilliant is that? To learn more and see how you might be able to apply that, and even see if there might be a fit. So I think that's great. So thank you for making that available to all of us. And I'd love for you to also share, if people are like, I love Deborah, I need more, I want to connect, I want to understand this energy stuff. What's the best way for them to do that? How can they go deeper?
They can, again, schedule a session with me on my website. I have a scheduling system, and they can also reach me on my email, which is dweiner@quickscrewsplural.com. It's our family business, and that would be the best way to reach me.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing, making that gift available. And just as we reflect back on our conversation today, is there anything on your heart that you would really like to make sure that you share with our viewers and listeners today? I don't want to leave anything on the table. So anything that is just bubbling up that you're really feeling like, wow, I want to share this, or think this will really help someone today, I'd love for you to share.
I love this saying, life is not about the number of breaths you take, but it's about the experiences that take your breath away. And I hope that I've made an impact today for other people to learn that they can have their breath taken away too, and change their life and their business by just being willing to be conscious and take a look at shifting your energy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And that we can have those moments that are so meaningful and impactful, that we get caught up in them in such an amazing way, and that we can choose to show up in that way. And I love that. So really, really powerful. And I just want to encourage everybody to take a couple moments and just process some of what Deborah has shared. See if there's anything bubbling up that you have questions about that you would like me to share. My team is standing by and they will send me a message. This is your moment. So if you do have something on your heart that you would like to ask and get some support in from Deborah or myself, this is your moment. So I'm going to give you a couple of moments. We can breathe, be present, and take a moment to write down your thoughts. Okay. No pressure, everyone. I felt like it was building there. Yeah. No, I'm trying to create a space for all of us, because this really is an opportunity. We're coming together. And I think in life, we're so do sometimes and checking things off the list and always in motion, that it's really helpful when we don't even have to do anything. You don't have to send a question. It's okay. You can just breathe and be, and that's enough. And know that we're here, and choose how you're showing up, choose your energy in that moment, and feel us smiling, sending positive energy to you, cheering you on in amazing ways. So just kind of know that. And we're going to take a moment and then transition to our next amazing guest, who I know you will love as well. But I just want to give you that processing moment. Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay. Moving to our next amazing dynamic guest, who I know you will love as well. Let me take a moment and introduce Bethany to you. So Bethany L. is an international best-selling author, a spiritual mentor, and founder of Agape Celebration, a nonprofit ministry for women. And she is trained in the art of sozo, which she's going to share about a little bit later, and the Genesis process. She's also a spiritual mentor for women and teens, and has been married for over 40 years, and loves to travel, loves animals, reading, painting, and is passionate about helping you be real, be unmasked, and be unstoppable. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and unstoppable Bethany L. Welcome. So Bethany, thrilled to have you joining us today. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about why this work is so important to you. So the mentoring that you do, the organization that you've created, the painting work that you do. Why is that work personally so important to you?
Oh, for a number of reasons. I think probably the top reason is because it has impacted my own journey so much of learning to be real. And very similar to you, when God started tapping me to share my story, it was just terrifying to me. And to speak out and to be authentic and to be real and to start sorting through, what are the lies that I'm believing and what is the truth? It was a lot of work. And so once I started rolling on that and started listening to him and started doing that, I really want to share that with other people and help them in their journey too. And as I have helped people, I've seen, wow, such transformation in each person. But as God is transforming them, he continues to transform me. And it's really beautiful.
I love that. So I feel like today you're just glowing, so I can see that transformation and that joy, like the joy in it and stepping forward. And it's a lot of work. It's a challenging journey, but it's a rich one. And the privilege and opportunity to help others is so rewarding and meaningful. And I love that you're doing that in so many different ways. So can you take a moment and just share a little bit about your books and what you mean by being real?
Okay. The first book I wrote was during COVID. So it was kind of, again, the same thing of God saying, okay, you have a lot of time on your hands. now's your opportunity to get this book out. And so I really struggled with what the title should be, and then finally he kind of downloaded that inside of me. It's like, well, you've been working so long to be real. Say, I am real. And that's the name of my book. And real for me stands for, the R is being rooted, and then empowered, authentic, and loved. Mm. And it makes so much sense to me, because I always really admired the palm tree. If you look during hurricane and just this recent one in Florida, they showed all these pictures of this horrible hurricane that's just whipping through the towns and it's destroying everything. But the palm trees are so deeply rooted that they are standing. They're not blowing, they're not uprooting, and they're not flying all over the place like everything else. They are there. And God kept saying, that's how I want you to be. I want you to be so deeply rooted in who I am that nothing is going to, you can go through the storm, but you're still going to know I am with you. This is who I am. This is who you are. And you're safe. And when I was able to work on that and to just continue to get more deeply rooted, I found that God was empowering me in so many different ways and enabling me to feel very safe because I was rooted in Him. Mm. And the more those things happened, the more authentic, because I felt safe to be who I am. I felt safe to be the quiet, observant person that I am. I didn't feel like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to fit in here, or I have to say this. That just wasn't part of my life anymore. I was learning to take off the mask and be truthful, be real, to be authentic. This is how I am at home. This is how I am when I'm with people. And kind of, like Deborah said, that if people didn't appreciate that part, then maybe those people just aren't meant to be in my life. I'll be content with the person that God has created me to be. And with all of that comes back to God saying, okay, you have to learn to understand and to believe that you are loved. And to be loved, to know that you're loved, you have to love yourself. Mm. And that was like, what? I have to love myself? And that, I think, is really just a lot of work to learn. As soon as I can love myself, then I can believe that I'm loved and I can give love to other people. And it's easy. It's a joy. It's like, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. And when I do that, I can take care of you too.
Beautiful.
So that, and my book really, it's not all just about, it's kind of the journey of how I got there. So it's the journey of recovering from post-traumatic stress syndrome and the experiences that I had through that and the people that I encountered and how they affected me and how I responded to all of that, and getting to the other side with God just continually, saying to me, okay, this is what you got to do. This is next. Let me guide you. Be rooted here in me and I'll help you. I'll empower you. So
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I love that image of the palm tree. And I think that's something we can really take with us, that how can we have our roots so deep we can go through the storm, because the storms are going to come. We're going to have storms. So yeah. I hope that's not a spoiler alert for anybody. We will have storms, but we can have our roots so deep that we're still standing, we're still there, we're still safe, we're still okay, even in the midst of a storm. And that's really a powerful place to be, courageous. It gives you courage to navigate through. So I love that. And so we did get a question. I thought this is the perfect. timing. They were correcting the question. So making sure I get the question right here before I say it, that basically, can you reshare what REAL stands for? I think people were writing that down. And if you could say what each letter stands for again, that would be great.
Yeah, R is for rooted, E is for empowered, A is for authentic, and L is for loved.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I'd love to ask some additional questions. So I'm thinking about, as we're talking about unmasking. So I love how you were talking about, where you're rooted. So what would you say helped, and you help people be real? So taking those masks off and kind of trusting people with them. So you shared a little bit about resonating with what Deborah shared about letting those people in your life that don't seem to resonate with that, letting them kind of fade away, that's part of that. But what else would you say helps really unmask, show up authentically, and step into our potential more? What would you suggest?
I would say that really sorting through what is true and what is not true. Okay. Because all of us, even if some have had more trauma than others, some have had a great upbringing, but we all believe something that's not true about ourselves and even about others, about God. Mm-hmm. So it's being willing to have that open mind and to have a connection with God to say, okay, I want to know, is this thought that I'm having, is it really true, or am I kind of off in left field somewhere? And practicing listening to what he says back to you, because he does respond to us, and really working through everything. Is it really true that I'm insignificant? I feel that way, but is it really true? And God says, no, I have created you to be significant. I have created you for a purpose. I have made you beautiful. Oh, so I'm not ugly? No, you're not ugly. And there's so many things, for me, there was just a huge list of lies that I was believing about myself and even about others. And going through those, and sometimes, you have to go through it more than once. You have to ask several times. One of my big ones was that God was going to leave me. He might be here right now, but tomorrow he probably won't be here. And so every day I would say, please don't leave me. God, are you there? Are you going to be with me? Are you going to stick with me through all of this stuff? And I would hear, yes, I'm with you. And it took years of me saying that. And the answer was always the same. And then one day he was like, Bethany, I need you to believe me. I am not going to go anywhere. I am here with you. And you don't have to ask me every day. You can, but you don't have to. And that was so eye-opening to me. It was like, okay, so the truth is, he is here with me. He is not going to leave me. And I don't have to keep asking him to remind him, because he's God. He knows. And that's sorting through the lies and the truth, letting those lies go, not looking at them. Don't give them the time of day, and focusing on what is true.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Is there a way that we might, because sometimes I think we have blind spots. So is there something we could be looking for, paying attention to, that might be an area that we should maybe look at a little bit more closely? Perhaps it isn't the truth. Is there something we can watch for, or a feeling, or some way to start noticing, oh, maybe I do need to look at that a little bit more, or question that? Maybe that's not the truth, or maybe I'm believing something that isn't supporting and true.
That's a good question. I think one of the avenues to finding stuff out like that is the Art Sozo. Mm-hmm. And for Art Sozo is really a fascinating process, because it's tuning in, it's asking questions to God, to Holy Spirit, you know, what about this? What do you want me to put on this canvas? What do you want to show me? You know, what am I needing to work on inside? And then you surrender that to him, and you let him work through you to paint on the canvas. And a lot of people, you know, will say, oh, I'm not an artist. I don't know how to paint. I can't do colors. You know, there's lots of excuses, but you don't have to be any of that, because it's basically letting a higher power work through you to reveal to you what you're believing and what the truth is. Mm-hmm. And that this is kind of a simple thing, but to me it was a big deal. The first art sozo that I did, the thing that came up for me was like, I hate people seeing me in a swimsuit. I don't want to swim, and I don't like it. And is it true that everyone is staring at me when I'm in a swimsuit? Was basically what it came down to, because I was and I ended up painting this, well, the Holy Spirit ended up painting this really beautiful heart, but underneath the heart was just this smudge of black. And his voice to me was, this is the heart that I created, and this is who I see. It doesn't matter whether you're on the beach, whether you're in a swimsuit, or you're just completely covered up. You're beautiful. But that process of painting it really integrated it into my heart in a way that just, you know, maybe otherwise it would not have done.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing a little bit about that art form too, because it's not one I'm familiar with, and it sounds so powerful and interactive to be able to experience and see some of our blind spots, so to speak, as we go through that. So anything else you would add to that for people who are like, wow, this is the first time I didn't know this existed. This is amazing. Where can they maybe learn a little bit more, or anything else you would add to what you just shared?
Well, they can contact me, and I can do individual art sozos or group art sozos online. Mm-hmm. So it can reach anybody everywhere. And, you know, it's a couple hour process to go through. And on my website also, they can leave a comment, or just, you know, it's pretty easy. I can discuss it more with somebody individually if they have questions about what that might be like for them.
Okay, so beautiful. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I just feel like what a amazing thing to be able to use and add into. And we don't have to be an artist. I like that. We don't have to know our colors. We don't have to know canvas stuff. It can really just be, what are we seeking? What should I know? Where can I go? And just bring the question to the canvas. I mean, that's really, really powerful and beautiful. I love that. So thank you so much. And I have a question from our viewers today, listeners and viewers. And it was, does Bethany have a favorite encouraging quote?
Wow, you know, I don't think that I do. I have a Bible verse, which pretty much everyone knows, which is, I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. And I have to tell myself that all the time, that, oh, this seems insurmountable to me. And I actually have something coming up that I'm in online school for ministry, and we have to do a sermon. And to me, for some reason, a sermon just seems so much different than just talking with you. And I was just saying to God, I don't know, this just seems insurmountable to me. Like, I don't know if I can make it work. And that verse comes back, you know, he's like, through me, you can do this. It's not really even about you. It's about me speaking through you. And the only thing that I have to do is just surrender that to him, and he's going to work it all out. And every single day I start getting another piece of, oh yeah, I could say that, and that's going to work, and that ties in with this. And okay, God, through you, I am strong. Through you, I can do this. there aren't things that are impossible, because this is what he has called me to do.
Yes.
And that calling is something that he's going to make work, whether I think I can or not. So that's what I would say about a favorite.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. So any final thoughts about unmasking your potential, something on your heart and spirit that you haven't shared about yet today? We don't want to leave anything on the table, as I had shared with Deborah, either. We want to bring it all. So anything bubbling up to share?
I think it's more of that, I so long just felt like I don't want anyone to see me. I really felt like I was wearing a mask in order to please other people, because I was so afraid of being rejected. And it really prevented me from reaching potential in any area. I'd almost get there, but not really, and almost this, but not really. And as soon as I was able to just let people know that this is where I have come from, this is what has happened, these are the experiences that I've had, and just rip it off and let it be what it is, it has really helped blossom my life inside, my heart. It's given me the ability to just see so many things differently. And to me, that is unmasking, when you can wear your heart on your sleeve and you can be honest and real and authentic and empowered and be able to talk about that. It's like God will take you in so many directions that really are unimaginable. So I think it's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. I love that. I can't wait to see your sermon come together too. That's exciting too. So we're lifting you up in that and supporting and celebrating. And I love, as you were sharing about that, I felt like there was this ease, like, and then this came, and then this piece came, and like it's starting to flow together instead of this heavy, hard thing that it was feeling like. So I think that's really neat. So thank you for sharing about that too. And I want to make sure I haven't missed any questions. So I know you have a gift, and I want to make sure we share about the gift so people can lean in and say yes, that it serves. So would you share a little bit about your gift?
Yes, I would like to offer to the first 3 people that come to my website my book, I Am Real. And all you have to do is go to Bethany L, which is BethanyElle.com. And that'll take you to my website. And then you just go to the store, and it'll prompt you to enter the code UNMASKED. And then we will send you a free book, the first 3 people.
I love that. So act now. Go ahead.
Shipping is not included.
Yep. Fair enough. So you do pay for the shipping, but you get the gift of the beautiful book. So first 3. So take that action for those of you who are feeling that pull and that call, and that would really serve you. I encourage you to lean in. And then how can people connect with you? How can they go deeper?
You can leave a comment on my website, or you can email me at Bethany@agapecelebration.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And the person who asked the question did have a response to your answer. And it says they love what you said about listening to the truth. And that really resonated with them. So I think that's beautiful to know, because we don't always get feedback instantly like that. So
good.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing with us today. I appreciate it.
The truth definitely sets one free.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much again for joining us and sharing. And we just look forward to how everything continues to unfold. And I'm very excited about exploring this artwork personally. I'm like, I want to play around with that, because that seems like such a powerful transformational experience. So we can also go to your website to learn a little bit more about that as well, and even get support in having it facilitated, which is fabulous. So I like that you're able to hold that container and help us with that as well. So thank you again for joining us today. And listeners, I'm going to give everyone a moment to final comments and questions for our beautiful Bethany. Send them now and take a moment to just kind of process and see what's speaking to your heart, what's speaking to your spirit, anything that you just want to take a moment to be with. We're going to give you about 30 seconds to do that. Okay, 10, 9, 8. You can certainly take more time at the end of our time together as well. And actually, that's I guess an extra credit bonus tip right now is that when we finish our time together today, take a couple minutes for you. Really see what am I going to apply? What am I going to integrate on a cellular level? Sometimes we just rush off into the day and yeah, that was great. And we file it away somewhere to maybe someday get to it and pick it up. So I want to invite you today, take some of that time. We'll allow room and space. Take some time to really process what you wrote down, see what's speaking to you, see what you can start to breathe in and be. Don't just add it to a someday list, but wow, I'm going to think about that. Or today, let me notice this about myself, or how am I choosing to be? Am I wearing a mask? Get curious. Use some of this information to get curious, go deeper, and then you can take some of those steps. But give yourself that breath, that moment, and then you can choose how you're moving forward in your day. Because this is your day. Just in case you didn't know, this is your day, your moment, your time, and you are choosing to invest this time together in you. So don't shortchange the experience for you. Really take this opportunity to go deeper and see what serves. And I hope as you lean in and you go deeper, you discover something amazing about yourself that you didn't know. And you discover, wow, I am doing that. Or, I could try that, or that sounds kind of cool. I think I want to explore that a little bit. Or what is this energy stuff? Or how am I masking myself and what's under there? So be curious and discover and really find the truth. Go deeper with that. It'll serve you so powerfully and everyone around you. The more you share who you are, the more we're making a positive ripple and difference in the world. So take the time. It's there, I promise. So take the time. So with that, we're going to introduce our next amazing expert who I know you're going to love. It is my privilege and honor to introduce Rachel Heslin to you. She is the author of multiple books. She has studied both individual and group. It's like social. I'm making up words now. I'm sorry. Individual and social psychology for decades. She is fascinated by how interaction between groups and individuals is affected by our identity and our experience and our authenticity. Like, how does that all work? And how do we show up? And why do we show up? And how are we affecting each other? All of that stuff she loves. She uses her knowledge to help leaders learn how to retain their integrity in a volatile world and shine. Please lean in and warmly welcome the dynamic and powerful Rachel S. Heslin to the show. Welcome.
I feel like I should have like the little like sparklers in the background or something after that particular intro.
I'm bringing them. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love your background. Just is so beautiful. I love the energy that it brings. Yeah.
It's actually very close to what I see when I look outside because I live in the mountains surrounded by national forest and absolutely love it. It's just wonderful.
And you're sharing it with us today. I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, you do so much. And I love how real you are and your willingness to be and to share and honor where you're being led. And so much of that is just just like your background is reflecting what you see, like there's this consistency in you and how you show up in the world. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why this work, why these subjects about retaining our integrity and being able to show up consistently as we are. Why is that work so important to you?
It's so important because it's something I struggled with so much. And I guess my evolution is I no longer see it as a struggle, but it is a challenge because I am constantly being called to reevaluate the relationship between compassion and commitment. And when I talk about compassion, I'm talking about compassion with myself, because let's face it, I am very human. I want to recognize and honor how I feel in a given moment. I don't want to shove things down, but at the same time, I know there are things I want to do, someone I want to become, things I want to accomplish in the world that require me to, I guess, set aside how I'm feeling right now in this moment in service of something higher. And it's not an easy road to walk. It can be very challenging knowing this moment here, what would it be best for me to choose? Because let's face it, sometimes we just don't wanna. And sometimes it's okay to not wanna and not do it. But there are other times to acknowledge that it's okay to not want it and do it anyway. So how do you decide when to do what?
I love it. And I think it's so true. And we don't talk about it a lot, right? We're supposed to do the supposed to things, or, or the shoulds. Yeah. Those can be so powerful in our life. And so I love this, really acknowledging that, and then having that grace, that compassion with ourselves and others, acknowledging and then making choices within that.
Yeah.
So anything that you would suggest to help us make choices as we're navigating that path? Any suggestions to help us honor and then make a choice that we're going to feel really good about when we look back?
Yeah, one of the techniques that I discovered I really like is developing a partnership with both my future, and my past selves, where in this moment I am here, I look forward to who I want to be. Who is it that I want to become? What can I do now in this moment that will make life easier for my future self? Then, as I become that future self, I look back on who I was in that moment where it was a struggle for me, and I made that little bit of an extra effort to stay true to where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. And I send thanks back to my past self, really appreciating that at that time it was a struggle, but I made the effort anyway. And just setting that up so that it's not a matter of shoulds, it's not a matter of pushing, but it's a matter of choice and appreciation and acknowledgement that, yeah, it is rough and it's for a good cause and it's worth it.
I love that. And I even love how you were saying for your future self to create some more ease. So it's what I love about that too, because especially if it's hard right now, that you're every step, you're actually helping yourself build a life of more ease and flow.
Exactly.
As you're doing that, how powerful.
And just to manage expectations, especially if you feel called to have an impact in the world, to help others.
Yeah.
it's important to realize that you want to increase that ease and flow as much as you can, because you are going to continually be handed larger opportunities.
Mm.
The things that
Yeah.
you do that are difficult for you now are going to become really easy, but that doesn't mean that life becomes a cakewalk. Part of life
Fair
is,
enough.
it means that you get stronger. You become more deeply rooted in your grace, in your foundation, so that you can spread your branches higher and wider, because that's why we're here. Life is dynamic. We're designed to continue to grow and evolve and become more than who we are today.
Mm. Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. I love what you're sharing. And it's like I'm drinking it in and processing it and letting it just sink within. And that realizing that creating that ease does open more room. And we get to keep being on this journey and making those choices and decisions. And I love that. And it is. And so as
Actually,
go ahead.
I was thinking, I just want to bring back to what I said before, that we talk about there's more ease and flow so that life gets more difficult. What does become easier is the process.
Mm.
I mentioned that it's like some things that my past self saw as a struggle no longer feels like a struggle to me. Even though I am continuing to learn and grow and evolve, now it just feels like a challenge. It just feels like this is what I do.
Mm.
So it's not that you're constantly going back to square one. It's that the process of living itself becomes easier because you know yourself better. You understand that you can reach and move through these challenges because you have all this evidence behind you that you've done it before.
Yep.
You can do it again. And okay, maybe it's a larger scale, but that's okay. You already know you can handle the process.
It's beautiful. Yep. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And we do have a question for you that I think this dovetails nicely in. So do you have a tip for how to grow more comfortable and be in that growth process with where growth leads us? So any suggestions to be almost more at ease with that process of where you are, where you're going, the choices you're making? Any suggestions around that?
My number one tip is cultivate curiosity. So often our society is really big about dualities: good, bad, succeed, fail. And life is about nuance. Life is about exploration. One of my favorite questions is, what else might be possible? Where are you setting up unnecessary constraints because that's just all you're familiar with? When you start cultivating curiosity, and I'm going to get a little psychologically geeky at the moment, it opens up your mind to being more aware of things that you can't predict. It is possible something absolutely amazing may happen that there is no way that you could have foreseen because it had not been in your previous experience. The other thing, and this is where the psychological geeky part comes in, is when you go straight into curiosity, it presupposes that it's going to be okay. It completely releases the judgment of good, bad, and replaces it with, well, let's see what happens. And once we find out what happens, then we'll figure out, well, then how do we deal with it? But that curiosity makes it easier to be more aware of your opportunities, be more aware of your resources, and be more open to possibilities that are different from what you've experienced in the past.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. So I got all excited because we're getting a top tip. So I was like, yay. And
Yeah.
I love that it's around this curiosity. And again, it's empowering us as we navigate. And I like how it creates that shift in a positive versus a limited perspective. So brilliant. Thank you for sharing. I love that. Well, as we're looking at unmasking our potential, and we're adding this super top tip of curiosity on the journey, anything else you would add to help us navigate those waters as we're looking at the holidays around the corner, the new year? We can be unmasking every day and start the new year that way, but we can start now. So any tips you would add?
You mentioned the holidays. I know a lot of people find being with family very challenging because there are so many unspoken expectations, especially if you're an adult and you had a challenging childhood, or even if not, if you're expected to spend time with people who do not see you for who you are, it can be very easy to just slip into the old mask. And it's interesting, there is a relevance. You mentioned when you were introducing me that I work with leaders on how to retain their integrity in a volatile world. It's equally applicable to how do you retain your integrity when you are navigating close relationships, when you are put in these situations where perhaps showing all of yourself may cause conflict, where there are parts of you that may be resentful of having been squashed down in order to fit into other people's boxes. The way that I tell my clients and others to approach this is to recognize the difference between hiding yourself versus highlighting those aspects of yourself which work more congruently with other people. The difference between these two things is releasing shame. We have become so corrugated, folded up, trying to fit into other people's boxes that we need to relearn that all of ourselves, every part inside ourselves, is beautiful and whole and perfect as we are. I refer to it as corrugations because I do not believe people are broken, but sometimes we're kind of crumpled and we need to relearn how to unfurl our wings. When dealing with whether it's family or a board meeting, the principle is still the same. Love and acknowledge those parts of yourselves that feel hurt. Find support for those parts and learn how to heal yourself in your relationship with yourself. The more that you're friends with yourself, the easier it will become when you are with others to be able to recognize, okay, in this situation, it is most beneficial if I highlight this aspect of myself. Because let's face it, we all contain multitudes. We are capable of adjusting to a situation. We do not, but there's a difference between adjusting to interact with others versus thinking that we need other people's approval or something in order to be ourselves.
Yes.
Releasing that assumption that we need others to approve of us does take a lot of work. But the first step is recognizing the difference.
Yes.
The difference between highlighting and highlighting.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I think that's so timely for what we're stepping into in the holidays and beyond, that, unmasking in this journey isn't just today for October. It's something that we get to keep building and growing. And we're not in a vacuum. We get to navigate these waters with others as well as ourselves as we go on this journey. And I love exploring these things so we can really show up in a way that is authentically true and who we are. But we're not asking for permission. We're not asking for approval. We're not even asking for opinions always, though they might be shared. You can decide how you receive them or not, but that you really get to make these choices and bring the amazing gift of you forward. And I know that you have created a beautiful gift. I'd love for you to share a little bit about it.
It is a walking meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I love, or actually, I spend I can get caught up in my head. I think about stuff. It's very important to me to have tools that help me come back to now, to reconnect with my body, to clear out all the clutter, and also reconnect that sense of something larger than myself. The meditation itself is called Reconnect with Now, and it's designed to be listened to. A lot of meditations are you're just sitting and you're thinking, and I'm one of those people that if I'm sitting, I start to think about my grocery list or what I'm supposed to be doing or something else. But when I am in motion, there's something about the vitality of it. I feel really alive, and I wanted to share that experience with others. So you can get a free copy of this on my website. Mm-hmm. And I do things a little bit differently. There's no sign in. It's completely free. You can just download it from the page. My website is thefullnessofyourpower.com. Mm-hmm. And then it's /reconnect-with-now. So it's reconnect with now and little dashes in between them.
In between. Perfect.
Yes. And it's if it sounds interesting, please feel free.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for making that available to us. It's very timely. And the more we can be in the now, the better. And you're right. We can instantly start making lists. And I like making lists. So my mind will go there very, very easily, unless I harness somehow movement or writing or something to help us stay very present. So I love that you're providing that for us. And then for those, I might have a question here. Okay, a comment. So can I share a comment with you from one of our viewers? They say, I love what Rachel said about integrity. So important for our well-being. It brings peace of mind. So you're bringing peace of mind as well as empowerment to others. I love that.
Oh, yes.
So for those who are loving you, want to connect, go deeper, go even further than the meditation, what's the best way for them to connect in?
Honestly, best way to connect with me is through my website, The Fullness of Your Power. I have links to essays I've written, resources, ways of connecting with me further. I just found it easier. Here's a central hub. Come find me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for creating the central hub and making it available to us. I appreciate that. And for joining us today. I just so appreciate each and every one of you. Being here, leaning in, really bringing your top tips as well as just really practical and profound ways to help us think about our potential, unmask and energy, and how are we connecting and growing those roots deep? How are we going deeper, connecting further, becoming more of who we are so we can share that out in the world? And I feel like each and every one of you has really helped us bring that message forward. Listeners and viewers, thank you for participating, sharing, sending your comments and questions. We so appreciate it. We look forward to the conversation continuing. And I wanted to share a few things as well to support you on your journey. So for those of you who feel that in addition to unmasking your potential, sharing more of who you are, you have a calling to share your message too, I wanted to create a couple of opportunities for you. So one of them is called the Speaker Talent Search. You can find it at speakertalentsearch.com. This is actually how some of us have met or gone deeper that you're seeing on this very stage. And it's an opportunity for you to go through an application process. And then if you're selected as a finalist, your message is then presented to people on the panel that are looking for you. They're looking to have you on their stages or interview you on their shows and programs so you can amplify your message. You can reach more people. So that's my gift to you. I encourage you to check it out, speakertalentsearch.com. So not a warning, but a full disclosure that it's all time sensitive. So I don't know when you'll be watching this video, when it's going to call to you. So make sure when you check it out, speakertalentsearch.com, you pay attention to the dates because we do them several times a year. And I don't want you to miss out on the magic window if it's something that will serve you. So I encourage you to do that, lean in. That'll really support you. And then you might be feeling like, well, what about if I'm called to write? I've started writing, Rebecca, you told me to write. So I connect my hand and heart. I've started to do that, or I'm going to explore some of these things. You may find that as you start writing, you actually have a lot to say, a lot to share that could make a difference. So we've also created a resource for you. It's called the Emerging Author Series. Emerging Author Series, plural, so there's an S at the end, series.com. And it's a group of 9 different ebooks that you can choose all of them, one of them, whichever will serve you, but it's to empower you on your writing journey, from writing your message to how do you get it out there? What is publishing? What is a launch? Myths and truths about it, just to really help you navigate those waters. Because if you are feeling called to speak or write your message, there's an urgency and it makes a difference. So I want to invite you and encourage you to find those resources that can support you on your journey. And then I'm going to go back to where we started in the beginning about our masks. Maybe you discovered a few as we went along on our journey. Maybe you're already taking them off as we've been talking and you're ready to show your clean, authentic, shiny self. I celebrate that. We'd love to hear about it and support you on your journey. So share away, we'll comment, we'll share out. We'd love to encourage you to keep taking those steps because it makes a difference. At the end of today, now we told you it would go till noon Pacific time, so maybe in different time zones. We're ending a little bit early. So we're giving you that time and we're encouraging you to use it for you. Take this time to go deeper, to see what's speaking to your heart, to your soul, to your spirit. How can you continue as you look ahead and you're looking ahead at choices that you're making? How are you continuing to make choices that empower you, that help you step into your potential, help you bring your gifts and talents forward? Because there's no one else in the world like you. You're needed. And I believe designed for now. Not someday, eventually, maybe one more thing off the list, then you'll do that. No. Now you're needed. So take a moment, take this time for you, this gift, to really go deep and think about what is one way I can start to share a little bit more of me, step just a little bit more in my potential, shine a little bit more of who I am, and more authentically be who I'm called to be, who I'm becoming. Take some time, enjoy that. Breathe, walk, be, and enjoy as you continue to step forward and unmask your potential. We can't wait to see you shine. Have an amazing holiday season, and we'll look forward to talking with all of you in the new year. Take care, everybody. Bye.